Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Our guest today is Chris Galizio, the executive producer of Money Game. Chris is an experienced institutional portfolio manager with a long track record of success. Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Ivan. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you. I wanted to get you down to talk about everything that's happening in the markets right now. Silver, gold, the financial markets, of course, all the craziness we're seeing. But first, let's start off with silver and gold. What are your thoughts on silver and gold from now to the end of 2025?
So I think what you're sitting in is a sovereign debt crisis, right? So same as 1917 to 1923 Germany, and if you remember, everyone kept underestimating inflation. They kept saying, "Well, inflation's up 15%, can't go any higher now, right?" Then it's
Yeah.
30. Well, can't go any higher. Then it's 300. Can't go any higher. 30,000. Right? That's what happened. And so I believe what you're seeing, and I believe what the Trump tariffs end the system, right? Because what this system requires a circular flow of money across the Atlantic, right? So what's really happening over the last 50 years, the U.S. has been ever since we went off the gold standard and became the reserve, we basically became the reserve currency, and we're issuing. What we do is we issue money. We run huge deficits every year, right? And we've been running them for 50 years. And what the globe does is they take those deficits and they recycle it back into U.S. Stocks and bonds, which drove interest rates down and stocks up through the moon. Which, by the way,
Correct.
is kind of the money game, right? When interest rates go down, asset prices go up. When interest rates go negative, all assets are worth infinite. What you're watching now is all assets are trading infinite.
Right.
But in the process of that, um, stocks disconnected from fundamentals, and we keep seeing that, right? You keep seeing like we and everyone's questioning why is this happening, and it becomes back to the main point of Money Game, the movie I just produced. The ecosystem's broken. All that's happening is money gets printed, it flows to the indexes regardless of fundamentals. All the index goes up. It doesn't make any difference. We saw it again recently with Tesla. Everyone's saying that, well, how can Tesla's earning, how can their revenue be down 19%, their profit down 72%, and after that earnings report, stock goes up
Yeah, it makes no sense.
because it's all passive, right? The ecosystem's broken. It's all passive and quant. The market doesn't think. The market only responds to the Fed. It doesn't sort, right? There's no price discovery in markets, and that is
Right.
a really big topic. So where do I think gold's going? I think it's going through the moon, right? I think what you're in is a sovereign debt crisis. During a sovereign debt crisis, the currency collapses, right? And because the Fed has to print money to keep interest rates high, to keep tax receipts up. Now, the other thing you should note is if you believe what I believe, that the market no longer reads the news, because 90% of the market is passive and quant. As we say in Money Game, it's a bunch of followers following follows like a cat chasing its tail, because there's no one setting prices. If
Right.
you believe that, now we turn to the gold stocks. You know that gold, since the fourth quarter of last year, gold was at 2,600. Now it's 3,300. Okay, why didn't the gold stocks react?
Right.
The gold stocks don't read because markets don't read the news. So this week you're going to see a bunch of gold stocks report. Tomorrow you have IM Group, you have a B2G, BTG Gold, B2 Gold. We have Equinix tomorrow on Tuesday, or I'm sorry, Wednesday. We have FSM on Tuesday also. Then we have MAG. Then we have Eris Mining. I want you to notice we know the gold price is at 3,300. I don't believe the market knows. So
Right.
I bet you what you're going to see is as they report, these stocks are going to fly. We already saw that with New Gold, NGD. It was up 19% after they reported. Why? Because the market finally see that the machines finally see the earnings. And they go, oh my God, earnings are up 35%? Well, yeah, because the gold price is through the moon. So once you understand, that's why I keep saying, once you understand that markets are broken, you're holding a crystal ball, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no one competing against you anymore, right? There's no one out there thinking. So if you're thinking, you can say, hey, I can buy this before the earnings. I know the earnings are going to be good, right? Then the stock, the machines start pricing it again. So that's why I think the stocks haven't reacted yet, but I think the opportunity is huge.
And now a message from our sponsor, Juggernaut Exploration.
One of the more exciting ones, I think, is Juggernaut. I know some people say, well, lightning can't strike twice, and but look, I think one of the things you got to reflect on is that the some of the guys who work here at Juggernaut are some of the same geologists that basically found and have now advanced sherbet at Goliath, okay, over the past years. So they have a very different way of thinking about exploration in the Golden Triangle than most other geologists, okay? And they've gone out and they've identified what could be another sherbet type target here. And the size of these veins is absolutely jaw dropping. My hunch is these guys are onto something pretty special.
The link in the description is right below for Juggernaut exploration. Now back to the episode. As we're in a sovereign debt crisis, like you say, what happens after, it blows up? Like what happens, once the silver and gold go astronomical, you start to see the real picture. Like what happens after that, Chris? What are your thoughts?
100%. So if you look at companies like Boeing, I mean, I can take 30% of the Russell 3000 because 30% of the Russell 3000 loses money. They're not profitable. They're zombie,
Wow.
right? So if you look at Boeing, is a good example of a zombie corp. If anyone looks at their cash flows and they just look at the cash flows, see how much they've earned over the last 5, 6 years, they'll see they haven't made a profit in since 2018. Right?
Jeez.
If I asked a 10-year-old, how much would you pay for the right to lose 10 billion a year? Because that's what they lost last year. The 10-year-old would laugh at you and say, nothing. Correct.
Right.
It's worthless. So you're not investing in Boeing, you're financing it. Right. And that's what's happening in the market. As the Fed's been printing money, if you notice the tagline for Money Game says don't get played, right? Because the Fed is playing everyone. They're manipulating markets, right?
Wow.
They're manipulating interest rates. And as interest rates go down, asset prices go up. When interest rates go negative in real terms, I mean, look at what's happening currently. You have Trump saying tariffs are going to go up 100%. On Chinese goods, they're up 150%, right? But he wants to cut interest rates.
Yeah, he wants to cut taxes, interest rates.
So, so if you believe inflation is going to be 60, 70, 80% because of tariffs, whatever they are, I don't know what they're going to be. Let's just say it's 10, right? If you believe inflation is going to be 10%, why would you buy a 4% bond?
Yeah, it would make no sense.
Right? It's a guaranteed 6% loss. But
Right.
tariffs are actually he's talking 20 to 100%, right? Who would ever buy a bond with a negative yield, negative real yield from a country that's monetizing its debt? Nobody. If you saw Zimbabwe, oh my God, look at Zimbabwe, I can get a 3% yield. Inflation's running at 20%. Would you jump in and say, oh my God, look at those bonds?
No, it's horrible.
Right. So they're manipulating interest rates, and when the government assumes all the risk, it's the currency that's at risk. So all that's going to happen is the currency is going to fall. They're going to have to, as if you saw from the movie, the second biggest quote in the movie, um, von Havenstein, the head of the German central bank, had a choice: print the money or trigger the revolution. And here we are at that point again. They're either going to they're trying to cut rates and print money, or everything collapses. By the way, if you're looking at shipping prices or shipping flowing into from China to the U.S., it's down 60%.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Jeez.
So what's going to happen is you're going to have 60% down. Not as many goods coming in, right? Give it
Hmm.
2 months. Give it till about July. You're going to see store shelves being there's nothing going to be there because there's no product coming in from China.
Right. And plus you have these high tariffs, and then if you have a shipping issue and 60% of the contents and the stock is not coming in the next 3, 4 months, yeah, that'll be a crisis in itself.
We're there, right? That's what's happening. I mean, so shipping's down. Next thing you're going to see is trucking is going to be down because it gets shipped to the ports, then it gets trucked to Iowa, wherever it's going.
Right.
Um, so you're going to see, and then you're going to see it, and then a month later you'll see nothing on the shelves. It comes back to the theme of money game. Capitalism requires risk to allocate scarce resources. And if the government manipulates markets, they remove risk, the ecosystem changes, right? And here we are and now the entire system is misallocating resources, and there's not going to be enough on the store shelves. Talking.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I want people to really go watch Money Game. Where can they find it, Chris?
So it's on Tubi for free. or you can find it on Amazon Prime. It's Money Game. The tagline it's a real movie too. It's kind of like Good Will Hunting meets
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street. It's a love story, right? Rated R. But we're really showing, and we don't talk about it. We don't say it in the movie, but at the end of the movie, well, I shouldn't say, but at the end of the movie, you're going to see inflation. Right.
Wow.
That's basically what's happening. We're basically putting you in the scenario of what happens during a sovereign debt crisis. But we show it through the eyes of an average person. When you see Daniel Washington, our lead character, his name is James in the movie. He basically represents the real economy. And Gardner, he's the Professor Gardner, is talking about the financial economy. And the point is now there's two different economies, and they operate opposite, and they actually
Right.
compete against each other. So now we have two different economies, the financial economy and the real economy that no longer work together. Money printing doesn't create wealth. Wealth is created by all your hard work. And that's kind of the message that we're trying to send to everyone.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm fascinated by that. I want everyone watching this, please go check out The Money Game. I highly recommend everyone to go check it out. And Chris, thank you so much for coming down, speaking to the silver and gold community. Every time you come on, it's a breath of fresh air. So I really want to thank you for coming down. And as the market develops, would really love to have you back on in the future.
No worries. Happy to be here and good to see you, Evan.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.